This is where the fun begins.
Hello there.
What's going on, guys? Unofficial Star Wars here. Hope you're all doing well. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the future of a possibility having a Season 2 for the Obi Wan Kenobi show. So, without further ado, we're going to hop right on into it. Taking a look here at the Direct's article, of course, as always, I'm going to have that full article linked down in the description down below, as always. And before we hop on into it, I would believe that we have potentially talked about a potential Season 2 here for the Obi Wan Kenobi show before here. So, it is all the more supporting evidence here that we potentially really could have a Season 2 for the upcoming miniseries of Obi Wan Kenobi. However, the only thing that is honestly denying the fact that there would be a Season 2 here for the Obi Wan Kenobi show is that all the marketing that we have had for the upcoming show here is it's always been said that it's going to be a one season, and one type of thing, and then done. It would be like a special mini-series type of thing that they were going to be doing here. However, a lot of the actors and other producers and crew members and all that type of stuff have, of course, come out recently to say that, of course, they would love to return here for more Star Wars and for an Obi Wan Kenobi Season 2. So, without further ado, we're going to hop into the Direct's article here as it reads, Obi Wan Kenobi is next in line for a Star Wars on Disney+. The first 2 episodes of the series will be released on Friday, May 27th, and will follow Ian McGregor's Obi-Wan after the events of Revenge of the Sith 10 years after. As one of the only Jedi that survived Order 66, Kenobi will be hunted by Hayden Christensen's Darth Vader and his Inquisitors as he was watching over a young Luke Skywalker on Tatooine. Directed by Deborah Chow, Obi-Wan Kenobi is being treated as a 6-episode limited series that is finally showcases what the character was up to during the 19-year period between the prequels and the original trilogy. Deborah Chow teased that the series will feature some surprises when it comes to the character appearances, and that the show was written to have a beginning, middle, and an end. If a fulfilled, conclusion here for this series is all that we really do need. However, things that we often do see with, TV shows and movies and franchises like this nature, taking a look back at the first Star Wars movie in 1977, they did give it kind of that leanway of where they said, hey, we could go ahead and expand this and continue on this story if this does actually good and people are actually into it and if they like it. They didn't just downright kill off Darth Vader in the first film. So in all essence, it really also does kind of depend on how they did the first season here of the Obi Wan Kenobi show, and if they do leave any of that leeway here to really leave any open room here for a potential Season 2, or if the rest of it would kind of flow perfectly into A New Hope. This article goes on to say, McGregor began expressing interest in returning of the world of Star Wars long before the official announcement of Obi Wan Kenobi. Now that he is officially back in the role, the actor has gotten the chance to talk about what it's been like, as well as if he would be continue playing the character for future Star Wars content. And it also does bring up a good thing here, a good point here, is the fact that this doesn't need to be necessarily, vocal pointed towards an Obi Wan Kenobi series. It could be maybe something else like the Andor series, which is going to be taking place alongside the Obi Wan Kenobi show, of where they could potentially have Obi-Wan show up or pop up here and there, maybe as a potential cameo, is something very, very possible, and that they honestly should do out of all things. Ahead of the release of the Obi Wan Kenobi show on Disney+, Ian McGregor talked about the experience that he had returning with the galaxy far, far away in a recent interview with Total Film. The actor stated that he would, in quotes, be totally up to returning once again as the Jedi Master as Obi-Wan Kenobi in the future, and jokingly mentioned knocking at Disney's door. Full quote coming from Ian McGregor himself, if we were to get the opportunity to do it again, I'd be totally up for that. Here I go again. It's like me knocking at Disney's door again. McGregor then praised the project as a whole, saying that it was, in quotes, it was a nice to come back, of course, and that he got as much or more of an experience as he did during the prequel trilogy. And more quotes coming from Ian McGregor himself, as it was nice to come back and to bridge that gap between me and Alec Guinness. I got as much or more out of playing him that this time than I did in the first 3 movies put together. That has to do with the writing, the people that we're making the series with, and the technology, and how different everything was. Ending quote there coming from Ian McGregor himself with an interview with Total Film. I'm also going to have Total Film linked down in our description down below if you guys are interested in looking at that as well. Let's talk a little bit about this. A Season 2 of Obi-Wan Kenobi is kind of one of those touchy subjects, I feel like, when it comes to talking about that with Star Wars fans. Some people are full on, go ahead, let's do it, and other people are like, no way way, it just wouldn't work. It would be really bad. I am one of those people that thought it was going to be a really good idea to do a potential Obi Wan Kenobi season 2, but I just have been thinking about it a lot recently, and it just wouldn't work story-wise. It just wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't fulfill that, I guess, that whole coming back here of these, I guess, prequel trilogy characters that we grew up with, or at least that I had grown up with, and many of you other Star Wars fans had grown up with. It just wouldn't have that same meaning or that same speciality, of course, as well. Now, however, to have maybe Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ian McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi, popping up in other potential Star Wars shows and series that would be kind of taking place simultaneously at the same time as the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, or kind of at least close near towards it, of course, such as the Andor series, as I had mentioned early on, I think would be a perfect opportunity to do it if they were to have a potential cameo with Obi-Wan Kenobi. For anything, it would be a wasted opportunity if they didn't do that. Same thing goes for the Lando show, of course, depending on when they're going to have that be taking place there, and if it would make any sense at that, of course, as well, for when and where it's taking place, seeing that the Lando show very well could be taking place before the events of A New Hope as well. Same thing goes for a potential Solo sequel. They definitely did set it up to have something going there for it and have more movies for the Solo franchise that they did there, and I think it would be very cool, of course, as well, to maybe have something with Obi-Wan Kenobi involved in there, especially since they have Maul in there as well. When the question is proposed by the Direct's article, the time gap between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope is the only missing piece when it comes to completing Obi-Wan's story. Are there more stories for Obi-Wan Kenobi? When viewers first met him in The Phantom Menace, he was still a Padawan to Liam Neeson's Qui-Gon Jinn, and from that point on, his story is fairly complete. And that is not completely true. He was first, of course, seen in 1977 A New Hope, but you guys get the point. As unfortunate as it really is, having Ian McGregor come back for more Obi-Wan Kenobi, it just wouldn't completely make all that much sense unless they were to do something that's taking place, maybe potentially something that takes place right before the events of A New Hope, but even then, it's just not completely necessary, even if they were to do it all that much. I definitely do think a lot of fans would be down for it, of course, but they'd definitely have to kind of give it a breather time and some time between having the Obi-Wan Kenobi show and whatever they would want to do as a prequel towards A New Hope taking place right directly before it. The only other stories that I can really think of for Obi-Wan Kenobi and his overall character is what was it like for him to really train with Qui-Gon Jinn and the early days of the Republic, if you will. Seeing that he would be so young, it just simply wouldn't involve Ian McGregor and rather somebody completely new. The article goes on to say, prior to 2008, there was a large gap between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith that was ripe for storytelling with the animated series Star Wars The Clone Wars, and that kind of fixed the problem with all of that time gap going on there for his character of Obi-Wan Kenobi. The character even made an appearance in an episode of Star Wars Rebels as well, but only to give a poetic ending to the story of Darth Maul as well. However, as I will say, it does kind of bring me directly back around to what I was saying previously. If they were to have a direct prequel taking place right before the events of A New Hope, maybe something involving Darth Maul or something along those lines, maybe adapting the whole story or that arc that they had in Star Wars Rebels with Darth Maul and Obi-Wan Kenobi in a live action spectrum of things. As unfortunate as it really is to kind of say here, other than his maybe training as an early Padawan in the early days of the Republic with Qui-Gon Jinn, as the article states, pretty much all the major events from Obi-Wan Kenobi's life will be covered once the Disney Plus series comes out, but that doesn't mean the character can't make additional appearances. As I had been mentioning throughout the videos, he definitely could appear in Star Wars Andor. Throughout the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy, Obi-Wan always based his choices on what he thought was the greater good. These decisions including sacrificing himself on the Death Star, putting his feelings aside for the only person he ever loved, and even keeping important truths from Luke, such as the fact that Vader was his father and Leia was his sister. Knowing that the character has always been doing the right thing, it would only make sense that he aided in the creation of the Rebel Alliance. Princess Leia already knew about Obi-Wan Kenobi in the events of A New Hope, and Rogue One confirmed that Bail Organa kept in contact with him as well. The article goes on to say, if McGregor was to appear in another project, Andor seems like the most likely and the perfect spot. The more and more I think about it, quite honestly, if you guys haven't really caught on, it just seems all the more perfect, and it would be such a missed opportunity if we want to have Obi-Wan Kenobi somewhere as a cameo in the Andor show. I'll probably make a separate video talking about that, so it's really all the more reason to hit that subscribe button and join us today. Since it will be largely based around the Rebel Alliance and the creation of it, it is possible that Bail, Cassian, or even Leia will seek consolation with Obi-Wan at some point throughout the series. It is also important to remember that the series will be spanning multiple seasons, so he could definitely show up at some point in time. Rosie O'Hara Dawson's Ahsoka series is another project that he could possibly feature with McGregor as a Jedi Master, and it would be in flashback scenes if or anything. If there are flashback scenes to the prequel era in that show, then Obi-Wan will also definitely show up up in those flashback scenes. Even then, since the Ahsoka series is set after the events of the original trilogy, Kenobi will already be a Force ghost that Ahsoka very well could commune with, as it is said that she would talk with Hayden Christensen's Anakin Skywalker's Force ghost as well. I think it would be such a really cool thing. Of course, as always, I want to know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. What do you guys think about all this? Would you want a season 2 of the Obi Wan Kenobi show, or do you not see it very fit or necessary to really continue on the story at this point in time with Obi Wan Kenobi, or if you would like to see him make other cameos in other series, such as the Cassian Andor series or the Ahsoka Tano series? I'd absolutely love to hear all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you enjoy it, as it was of the channel and Instagram, unofficial Star Wars for more Star Wars content, guys. Thanks so much for watching today's video. As always, may the Force be with you. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great day or night. Peace out.